There are accusations of lewd texts and comments of Lauer exposing himself. And one woman alleges to the New York Times that a sexual encounter in his office culminated with her passing out and Lauer having his assistant take her to a nurse.
It's difficult to talk about, right? My family is shattered by this.
We are told that he gave a sex tape to one of his former employees along with a graphic note about what he wanted to do with it.
Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
Matt Lauer was a criminal in the workplace backed by NBC. He leveraged his power dynamic to prey on and harm his victims. One employee was brought into his office and locked inside. After he was done with her, she passed out, so his henchman assistant dragged her to the nurse, and they acted like nothing ever happened. This is just one story of many encounters involving this monster. So let's get into it. There's no denying that Matt Lauer was a big part of daytime television. He was all over the news, he hosted events, and he even interviewed presidents. But that was all until his own undoing.
Matt Lauer and Savannah Guthrie.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Lauer's illustrious career at NBC has included plum assignments like hosting the Thanksgiving Day Parade and interviews with everyone from presidents to stars like Tom Cruise.
You're glib. You don't even know what Ritalin is.
Just 2 months ago, he grilled former Fox News star Bill O'Reilly about sexual allegations that led to his own termination from Fox News.
So Matt was at the peak of his career until everything came tumbling down. We really learn who Matt is on November 29th, 2017, because Variety and the New York Times both posted articles with a lot of allegations.
But this morning, other clips are resurfacing too, like this sexually driven sketch.
Drink it in, ladies.
Again, Matt, really? It's the third time this week.
There are creepy clips of Matt Lauer in the workplace acting like a fool, but what's even creepier is what he did behind the scenes. So we're hearing allegations from the Times and Variety magazine while NBC is receiving their own complaints internally. I want to start off with one of the most disturbing stories in the Matt Lauer situation, because he had one of these employees come into his office and he did the unthinkable. Can you imagine your boss summoning you to his office, and then when you sit down, he clicks a button on his desk to lock the door? That alone sounds like a horror film. But then he came up to her, asked her to unbutton her shirt, which she ended up doing, and he pulled down her pants. He bent her over the chair and did what he wanted to with her.
One telling the New York Times Lauer summoned her to his office in 2001 during a workday, locked the door, and sexually assaulted her. The alleged victim says she didn't report it because she felt ashamed and didn't want to lose her job.
It's clear that he was using his power in this situation, and after he did this with her, she ended up passing out, and then his assistant came and took her to the nurse. So his assistant enabled this, and who knows what the assistant knew.
That he then asked her to unbutton her blouse, which she did. She says he then came around from his desk, pulled down her pants, and had sex with her. She says she does bear some of the responsibility for what happened, but she felt like he was kind of using his power over her.
The woman ended up leaving the network about a year later, but she claims that Matt never hit on her again and they never spoke about what happened. She did end up telling her husband about what happened, which I cannot imagine if my wife came to me and told me this, that her boss did that. I would be at her workplace in minutes. So it's good that she has a witness to, verify her accounting, but at this time they were separated and they later divorced. But as I mentioned earlier, there are more allegations. In the Variety report, 3 anonymous women call out Matt, claiming that once he brought a female employee into his office and then dropped his pants to show off his you-know-what. He also supposedly purchased a toy, an inappropriate toy, for one of these employees and told her how he would like to imagine her using it.
The new allegations come after another scathing expose Wednesday. Variety details the claims of several current and former anonymous NBC staffers. one of whom told reporters Lauer gave her a sex toy as a present, accompanied by a note detailing how he wanted to use it on her. Another saying he exposed himself to her in his office, then reprimanded her when she didn't engage. Two more tell the magazine Lauer had a button under his desk that would automatically lock his office door. Variety adding, several women complained to executives at the network about Lauer's behavior, which they say fell on deaf ears.
So this all went down on November 29th, 2017. But I want to go back a couple of days and give you guys some insight into what was happening right before we learned about these allegations. So a complaint was actually filed against Matt on November 27th, 2017. And a lawyer put in this complaint with a few different former NBC employees who had these stories about Matt. So then after this official complaint was fired, NBC did their own investigation, which launched on November 28th, 2017, a day before these two articles hit the press, which is convenient timing for NBC. Throughout this video, you will see that I believe NBC knew more about Matt's behavior before they acted. They put out a statement claiming that they received these complaints and they do not allow this behavior in the workplace. I mean, he's been there for over 20 years and he hasn't gotten in trouble yet. So they claim that they knew nothing and that they do not tolerate this.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. And Hoda's here with me this morning because this is a sad morning here at Today and at NBC News. Just moments ago, NBC News Chairman Andy Lack sent the following note to our organization. Dear colleagues, on Monday night, we received a detailed complaint from a colleague about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Matt Lauer. It represented, after serious review, a clear violation of our company's standards. As a result, we have decided to terminate his employment. While it is the first complaint about his behavior in the over 20 years he has been at NBC News, we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident.
It's clearly not an isolated incident, and NBC really associated themselves with Matt Lauer. I mean, he was pretty much the face of the network, so they had to work really hard to scrub their image clean from him.
As painful as it is, this moment in our culture and this change had to happen.
Yeah, it did. This is a very tough morning for both of us. I've known Matt for 15 years, and I've loved him as a friend and as a colleague. And again, just like you were saying, Savannah, it's hard to reconcile what we are hearing with the man who we know, who walks in this building every single day. We were both woken up with the news kind of pre-dawn, and we're trying to process it and trying to make sense of it, and it'll take some time for that.
I can't believe that woman's in the back waving and showing a sign. Like, she must not have known what they were talking about. But there's one incident in particular that made NBC cut off Matt Lauer, and it involves a woman named Brooke Nevils, who claimed that back in 2014 at the Olympics, there was an encounter that was serious enough to terminate him.
According to Variety, Nevils confirms in the book that she had more sexual encounters with Lauer once the two returned to New York City, but claiming to Pharaoh it was completely transactional. It was not a relationship.
At the time, we didn't really know Brooke's full story yet, and we'll get to that, but Matt was trying to defend himself against everything.
Question of who knew what when, and many of the sources we talked to find it very hard to believe that they can issue this blanket statement saying that nobody knew.
So at this point, he knows that Brooke's complaint is the one that got him fired, and he claims in his mind that this was a consensual affair. Keep in mind, he was married to this woman he had been cheating on with a bunch of these NBC employees, acting like a creep at work. He claims that he was shocked and dumbfounded and completely bewildered by what happened. He never thought it would get to this level. Well, it doesn't seem like he thinks about anyone but himself. So at this point, Matt Lauer is fired, and everyone's reporting on this story because more and more women keep coming forward.
The details that have emerged are simply too graphic for morning television. There are accusations of lewd texts and comments of Lauer exposing himself, and one woman alleges to the New York Times that a sexual encounter in his office culminated with her passing out and Lauer having his assistant take her to a nurse.
Everyone's talking about this story involving the office with the lock because people can't really wrap their mind around that someone could do this and the assistant would just take her to the nurse afterwards. I'm glad that her story got a bunch of attention, but there's a lot more people to go through. But before more of these people start speaking out, Matt puts out his own statement. This came out like a day after the Variety and the Times reports, and keep in mind he signed a $20 million contract with NBC, so he's missing out on a lot of money.
Matt Lauer's fall from grace casting a dark cloud over what was supposed to be a bright night at NBC's famed Christmas tree lighting. The former anchor scrubbed from the show.
The atmosphere is electric.
The star, with a reported $25 million a year salary, now fired.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Friday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
Following a female staffer's allegations of sexual misconduct during and after the 2014 Olympics in Sochi.
There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. He says to those that he hurt, he's truly sorry, which I think this is almost like an admission of guilt. But he does go on to say that some of these statements are untrue or mischaracterized, but there is enough truth in these stories to make me feel embarrassed and ashamed.
And we were told some very shocking and disturbing stories, which are a stark contrast to the Matt Lauer that everybody has known for over 20 years. We were told that he gave a sex tape to one of his former employees along with a graphic note about what he wanted to do with it.
So we learn who the real Matt Lauer is, and then just a few weeks after he put out that statement, another woman comes forward. Her name is Addie, and she's a former Today Show staff member who had a month-long affair with Matt Lauer back in 2000.
It has been nearly 3 weeks since Matt Lauer was fired from his job as anchor of Today after an NBC News employee accused him of sexual misconduct. Last week, a different woman, a former Today Show employee, spoke out publicly, telling Variety magazine she had a brief sexual relationship with Lauer when she was 24 years old and a production assistant for the show.
It seems like Matt has a way of grooming people into his mistress. And he first approached Maddie and offered help and, tried to be kind. I mean, he was definitely flirty, but she didn't think that he would take it to this next level.
And he just said, wow, you look great. I don't remember verbatim, but it was like, whatever you're doing with yourself or in your life, it's certainly agreeing with you. Just wanted to let you know. And that was from him. And I thought, well, that's nice. And what I said was, thank you so much. I appreciate it. By the way, I've accepted a job in West Virginia. Can I get some advice from you before I leave? And he said, sure, anytime. And then a month went by, and I didn't really hear much from him until one day I got another message that said, okay, now you're killing me. You look great today. It's a bit tough to concentrate.
So he's totally warming her up to be his, next girl, his next fling. And when they're at events like the Democratic, national event and all of these political events and newsworthy events, they have encounters. And there was one moment in particular where he called her into the bathroom and, did whatever he wanted to.
The relationship, sexual relationship, lasted for about a month.
About a month, yeah.
Okay. Including, he would call you to his dressing room. You were at the Democratic National Convention once, and
right.
he called you into a bathroom there for an encounter.
Right. These are very hard things to talk about. It's difficult to talk about, right? My family is shattered by this. They're afraid for me.
So Addie was brave enough to share her story, and it shows how Matt really doesn't have much morality. He will cheat on his wife. He will pursue the young production assistant. She was 24 at the time, and his representatives did not respond to Addie's story at all. Addie also recognizes that it was somewhat consensual, but she feels like she's a victim because of the power dynamic. He knew that she was leaving the network, and there was no better prey than somebody who was going to be gone. He went after the most vulnerable and the least powerful. So all of this crap goes down in 2017. And in 2018, it's a ghost town. We don't hear anything about Matt. But then in 2019, his wife finally decides to leave him. I don't judge her because ultimately that's her choice. They have children together. We don't know what's going on, but she filed for divorce against him and she has every right to do so. And it seems like it was a quick process. They submitted it to the Supreme Court. They signed it. They are now divorced and everything is settled. So it wasn't like a big, custody battle or financial battle. It really seems like Matt kind of gave up. Now, you guys may remember there was an incident back at the Olympics that involved a woman named Brooke. Well, in 2019, she decides to share her story. So Brooke was working the Olympics in Sochi and she saw Matt at a hotel bar one night. They ended up hanging out at this bar, and I'm sure Brooke was excited because it's freaking Matt Lauer. But they ended up getting drunk and he wanted to go do things, but she did not want to. She said no over and over and over again, and she acknowledges that she was just way too drunk to do anything with anyone.
In the upcoming book, Nevils alleges that Lauer raped her in his hotel room at the 2014 Sochi Olympics. She said, quote, "It was non-consensual in the sense that I was too drunk to consent. It was non-consensual in that I said multiple times that I didn't want to have anal sex."
She ended up taking 6 shots that night, and she went to Matt's room twice, once to get her press pass, and then the second time he invited her back. Once she was in the hotel room, Matt kissed her, then pushed her onto the bed and asked if she likes to do it behind, in the back door, you know what I mean? She declined several times, but he allegedly just did it and didn't use lubricant. Oh my God. Ugh. She claims that it was really painful and that she bled for days. Holy crap. That's like traumatizing. She told Ronan Farrow, quote, "It was non-consensual in the sense that I was too drunk to consent. It was non-consensual in that I said multiple times that I did not want to do it in the back door." She does claim that she had hooked up with Matt several times in the past, but she claims it was transactional and she was just trying to, I guess, secure her career, which is unfortunate. But then on October 9th, 2019, Matt Lauer denies doing anything to Brooke. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but you guys can pause it if you'd like. Pretty much he's denying it, claiming that Brooke has made up this story to make it seem like it was an abusive encounter and that she is a victim here, but she was a fully enthusiastic and willing partner. He also claims that they had hooked up multiple times after that incident. So he's just trying to discredit, I guess, that moment or her accounting because they did have an affair for months, it sounds like. He's also calling out the power dynamic situation because he's calling BS, claiming that he's not even her boss. He has no link to her career, and Meredith Vieira is actually her boss, so why would she be scared of him? But after he put out his statement, Brooke had a response.
There's the Matt Lauer that millions of Americans watched on TV every morning for 2 decades, and there's the Matt Lauer who this morning attempted to bully a former colleague into silence. I am not afraid of him now, regardless of his threats, bullying, and the shaming and predatory tactics I knew he would and now has tried to use against me.
2019 was really the last worst year for Matt. Since then, everything's been pretty quiet and he's really fallen off the scene. He doesn't even really have any friends in the industry anymore.
A source told People in November that Matt Lauer has, quote, kind of withdrawn from several friendships in the last year. The source said the former anchor's level of trust has diminished with many of the people he once considered friends following his abrupt departure from the Today Show. Case in point, Lauer's former colleague and Today co-host Katie Couric.
So Matt doesn't have a lot of friends anymore, which makes sense. I mean, you're a creepy dude. But we need to talk about his friendship with Katie Couric because they worked very closely together.
So Matt, he's just here now, right?
These are just crosstalks, and I'll meet you outside.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm going. Pretty sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
So that was a creepy clip of Matt hitting on Katie, I guess, and I don't think she liked it. Actually, in October 2021, she says that she has no relationship with Matt Lauer.
Former co-host Katie Couric said this about Lauer in a game show lightning round in 2012.
So what is Matt's most annoying habit?
He pinches me on the
Wow! TMZ released this video Wednesday, apparently showing Lauer commenting on a coworker's appearance on set.
Pretty sweater. Keep bending over like that. It's a nice view.
Katie claims that she was shocked when she learned about the allegations, calling his behavior grossly inappropriate. She said when she heard about the allegations against Matt, it was, quote, really, really hard and took me a long time to process what was going on. The side of Matt I knew was the side of Matt I think you all knew. He was kind, generous, and considerate. As I got more information and learned more about what was going on behind the scenes, I found it really devastating and also disgusting.
Couric told Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie during a candid interview in 2021.
It was really devastating, but also disgusting.
But that's not all. Couric also released private text messages between her and Lauer in her 2021 memoir, Going There. According to Couric, she included those text messages in her book because she thought they were very illustrative of how their relationship devolved and ultimately deteriorated.
Katie's book really did Matt dirty. I mean, I get it, Matt's an awful guy, but she included text messages in that book, and that really just, like, I guess destroyed Matt as a person, which, I mean, as he should. He's not a good guy, but at the same time, like, girl, you put text messages in your book? That's different. Honestly, that's something I would do. The receipts in the book. Anyways, it turns out one source claims that he just doesn't have a lot of friends anymore. People were checking up on him, but that stopped. He just stays to himself and he doesn't really reach out or engage with anyone.
In November 2017, NBC chairman Andy Lack gave the television personality his pink slip and sent him packing. Since then, however, Lauer has more or less faded into obscurity. A source told People in November 2021, people would check up on him for a while, but that stopped to a degree. He just stays to himself. He doesn't really reach out to people very much anymore or engage them, and so he's been losing touch with a lot of people.
So Matt's all alone. He lost his family, his wife divorced him, but it does turn out that he has a new girlfriend and she's sticking by his side.
Sources told People that PR executive Shaman Abbas has been dating Lauer and is, quote, very happy with him. The two reportedly met decades ago and maintained their friendship throughout Lauer's fall from grace. The insider added that the PR executive is putting her boyfriend's past behind them and that she supports Lauer in every way.
What do you guys think about this girlfriend? I mean, what do you think about people who, like, are accused of these things and then they get into new relationships? Like, what do you think her mentality is, and do you judge her for it? I actually want to know, like, your genuine, like, your opinion. So comment below because I'm interested. I feel like it's a very touchy subject, but the last time we heard about Matt was about a month ago. A source told People that he's withdrawn from several friendships in the last year, especially after Katie released her book. Quote, he was really upset by Katie's book. She shared their private text messages and she semi-slammed him. It made him lose trust. His level of trust has just diminished with a lot of people he considered friends, and much of that was because of Katie's book and because talking to people from his past is painful. It's interesting to hear that Matt is struggling with trust because he probably broke the trust of a lot of people. I mean, if I was that person who was locked in the office, I wouldn't ever trust a boss again. And can you imagine being called to the office by your boss in the future? I mean, I would just be paranoid forever. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Here's my email, and let's go ahead and open a PO Box package item. I'm finally going to be opening these again because I finally got them all. So this one looks like it's from Linaria Soaps. I've really been needing some new soaps. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to list everything below. If you guys are new to my channel, I usually do PO Box unboxings at the end of my video, but it's just been kind of like a struggle lately with the holidays and like sending things and shipping. So I'll link everything below and you guys can go and support a fellow small business. We love small businesses on this channel. Dear Sloan, I'm a small business owner, one-woman show that watches your content on YouTube. When I first discovered you, I found you to be sincere and honest about the topics and people you cover, which is refreshing. Aw, that's so sweet. Enclosed, you'll find a few bars of my product. One of them is from my Halloween line. I know Halloween's over, but we love this one. Wanted to share. I love Halloween all year long. I would first like to apologize if you find this letter too lengthy, but I'm passionate about my craft and most people don't know that soap sold in stores is not in fact soap. It's synthetic detergent. In today's world, people obtain aluminum-free deodorant, fluoride-free toothpaste, and healthy diets, but they still have soap with a bunch of these, I guess, synthetic detergents. When I started formulating my recipes for my own soap and skin needs, I discovered I love what I'm doing and discovered the benefits to my skin. That was 3 years ago. Oh, wow. And you're still, wow, that's amazing. Anywho, thank you for all that you do. And I hope you enjoy the gifts. I am so excited. I'm actually like shaky because I had like a Celsius earlier. Haven't really eaten, but thank you so much, Linaria Handcrafted Soaps. I'll list everything below. That is so sweet. And let's go ahead and check these out. Ooh, my mic is trying to swing around. Someone also said, like, is your mic not plugged in one video? My mic is plugged in. It's just plugged in here. I think I need to plug in this part, though, and it will sound a lot better. So we're going to do that. So I got her opened. Here is a business card. Look how cute it is. I want a business card. Can't even really see it. I'm such a bad influencer. Anyways, let's go see what they've got. Wow, everything's packaged really nicely. Oh, Galliant soap. That smells really good. Goat's milk, period. I've really been needing some new soap, so oh, this smells so good. This is the Halloween one. I'm so excited about that one. She even included some wax melts. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, and this one is rosemary mint. Oh, you can really smell the mint. And then this one is unnamed. Wow, it smells so good. Thank you so much, Linaria. I hope I'm saying that right. Go and check out her store below. Go support a fellow subscriber. I was gonna say a fellow creator. Well, you are a creator. You're creating soap. So like, go off, creator, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.